Hi, I am Claire. Welcome to my channel. For this week's video, I am going to be doing a duplex, but it's not like a typical cookie cutter, like every house on the row is the same. This is one half is a Tudor style house, and then the other half is a modern house. The idea I had for this home is that there's a grandma who's getting older in her years and she needs a little bit of help, and so her child decided to make a house right next to hers, and it was supposed to be a small extension, but it turned into being a 3-bedroom house right next to her 2-bedroom house. And I decided to make a little walkway in between of these houses, which I'll talk about more when I get to that space. But I thought that would be kind of fun. I got this idea from a house I saw in real life a few years ago, and I finally decided to make it in The Sims. Well, not make the exact house, make something very similar to the exact house. And so I was thinking that the grandma, her late husband, could be really into fishing, and so you'll see some fishing items later on in the build, and I thought that would be kind of funny. Maybe he fished up a cow plant and then that cow plant killed him, and so we are just going to be adding a lot of little pink items here and there. And I thought that would just be kind of fun. Like, this grandma is just by herself, so she can have a pink couch if she so desires, and she did. So we are just going to have a lot of different pink items here and there. I tried to keep that in mind, but I wasn't trying to go like crazy with it. Well, maybe in the kitchen I might have went a little crazy, but you'll see that when we get into the kitchen. Right now we are just working on the entryway space. I was kind of thinking that the grandma really likes to have dinner parties, so the entry to the dining room is right off of the entry to the house. And now we are in the kitchen, and I was trying to keep it kind of simple and small. I was trying to make this house seem like it was kind of like a generational home, and that it's kind of been passed down from generation. So the grandma didn't want to change a whole bunch in the house, and so even though she probably would like a bigger kitchen, she's like, oh, the memories are in this kitchen. And so you might be noticing the pink range and the pink fridge, and I was thinking that it would be kind of funny to be like the child to be like, oh mom, like, since we're like adding on to your house, like, is there anything you want to update? And the grandma's like, the pink range, I want a pink range. And so I thought that would be kind of funny. It's like she didn't want to update any of the cabinets, but she wanted a pink range. And so we are just going to be adding some upper cabinets, having a little bit of accented of blue, which I do kind of follow throughout the rest of the kitchen, and just going to be finishing up in this space. I feel like that kitchen turned out pretty well, and now we are just going to be adding some lighting and going to be going into the powder bath on the first floor. Since this sim does like hosting dinner parties, that it would make sense to have a bathroom on this floor. I was originally thinking to have the bathroom on the second floor, but I needed some more space, and then there ended up being some room for a powder bath. And now we are in the first room on the second level, which was originally the child's room, but since they have grown up and moved next door, the grandma has made this into a little craft room for herself. And since pink is this grandma's favorite color, I wanted to make it all pink for her. And I didn't create Sims for this house, but maybe if you like creating Sims, you could create Sims for these houses. And so I just wanted this area to be very crafty, very pink, very sanctuary like for this grandma, and so I wanted to add this desk, and then I added a computer, but then I realized there's not really like a space for too much. There wasn't enough space for the computer, so I do move the computer on the landing area. And so we are just going to finish up this space, wanting to kind of just keep the walls simple and just trying to make it feel inspiring for this sim or for your sims. And so we are just going to be adding a little cross stitch. I just forgot to mention at the beginning of the room. It's cross stitch and knitting in that area, and so we are just going to be adding a little desk with some more crafting supplies on it, and this is just kind of overflow from the craft room, and so we are just going to be adding a little pink chair, just trying to make this a very happy space for this grandma. And now we are just going to be adding a few more details in the kitchen and going to be going into the living room. And I was originally thinking that this would be a seating area, but then I did end up adding a TV. I thought that maybe the child who's now grown up like got a TV, like begged his mom for a TV, and so we are just going to be adding the TV, and like maybe the grandma doesn't really use it, maybe she does use it. It's not like the best TV. I probably could have used the TV that came with the basement kit, but I also still need to get the basement kit. So if you have the basement kit, let me know down in the comments if you like it and if it is worth the money. And so now we are back upstairs and just going to be adding some fishing decorations, like I said earlier, but first going to be adding some pink aprons. And I thought that this picture in this item could be the dad or the grandpa that died from the cow plant, and now we are just going to be adding a little lamp, but I think I don't end up keeping a lamp. I was just trying to see if a lamp would work out in that area. And now we are in the bedroom, which is very pink, very girly, and so we are just going to be adding some side tables, and I do add the matching dresser, and I don't really mind that the dresser's kind of banged up. It just kind of looks like, oh, they've had this for a while because they lived in this house for a while, and maybe that dresser was actually a hand-me-down from one of the great-grandparents. And so we are just going to be adding some books into the space, and I wanted to add like an actual bookshelf, so I do move that kind of in the hallway of the hallway into the bathroom. I am stuttering over my words, and I'm sorry. And so we are just going to be adding a little chair, and I do move the bookshelf into the hallway now, and I just wanted to add a little chair, and just going to be adding some other pink items just to make it feel mostly like grandma kind of. And I did want to add these board games because I thought it'd be fun, like maybe the grandma looks forward to having board game night with her grandchildren. And so we are just going to be scooching a few things over since this window is off center. I just wanted to make sure there was room for a picture, and now we are just making my own little photo collage, which I think turns out pretty well. I just wanted to make my own photo collage wall. I did meant to use the photo collage that came with the new Growing Together pack. I feel like I've used that a lot. I'm pretty sure I do actually use that in this build, and so I just wanted to make my own for this room, and just going to be adding a little bit of tapestry. Maybe that is also a handy down, or maybe the grandma made it herself in her craft room. And so we are just going to be adding some pictures on either side of that tapestry, and going to be now just adding a few things into the hallway. And I do end up using that photo collage from Growing Together, and just going to, oh no, never mind, I probably should have watched this video before I started recording it. I am trying to do this a little earlier on in the week because I'm trying to find time to do some other stuff. I'm trying to start an Etsy shop with calendar pages. And so anyway, back to the video. We are just going to be now working on the hallway in between of the Tudor house and the modern house. I thought that this would be a fun little like greenhouse, sunroom area, and so I was imagining this to be like a space for like grandma to hang out mostly, and it's mostly just also a walkway for the Sims to get from either house. Maybe it's like an easy access for the grandkids to come back and forth. Maybe both of the parents work, and so the grandma is kind of like a caretaker for the toddler. And so we are just going to be adding some items from the new plant kit. There's 2 plant kits, and I was getting very confused on which one was which when I was designing this space. And so we are just going to be adding a little flower seed packet, and going to be adding a rug and a chair, both from the laundry day pack. And I just thought that this little space turns out really cute. So let me know down in the comments what you think of this space. And so we are just going to be adding this rug from laundry day, and I don't usually use laundry day back to back. And so anyway, we are now in the modern house, and I wanted this to be modern and warm, so you can see I have that kind of a not grayish, beige wall on the kitchen, and I'm going to be using these countertops from the Spa Day pack. And I did take a break in between of the Tudor house and the modern house. I usually try to record from like start to finish all in one sitting, but I knew I didn't have enough time when I was recording, so I had to take a break, and I kind of think that helped. I feel like I should do that more often, but sorry, you probably don't want to hear me rambling about taking breaks. You probably want to hear about the kitchen. So we are just going to be using a lot of different modern items. This isn't a pack restricted build. I did try to mostly use items from the get together pack because that's the world I built this in. That's kind of like the main idea that I had, since the pack comes with a lot of modern and a lot of Tudor styled items. And so we are just going to be adding a little plant cart outside of the Tudor house because I saw it and I didn't want to re-find it, so I just kind of quickly put it back in the Tudor house. And so we are just going to be adding a lot of cabinets. This is on medium wall height, and I did sink the kitchen down, so there's a lot of space from the floor to the ceiling. And now we are just going to be adding a dining room. I'm thinking that these Sims also like to entertain, probably don't do as many dinner parties as the grandma. They're probably more of like the sports people or like the game people. And so we are just going to be extending the kitchen just a little bit. This is probably the kitchen that the grandma has always wished she had, but she loves the history that she has in the kitchen she uses currently. And so we are just going to be adding a little bit of storage. I first started this off in the main area entryway of the house, but then I'm like, oh wait, there's plates, and there's like cups in the bottom part, and so I do move that over into the dining room because that made a little bit more sense to have that there and not in the entry. And so we are just going to be adding a few more items into the Tudor house, and now we are back in the modern house. Sometimes you just find those items and you know you're going to lose them, so you just gotta place them when you know they're in sight. And so we are now just going to be adding a coat rack, and I use this one from Seasons. It looks a little bit more modern to me, and so that is why I wanted to use it. I was thinking that maybe the child of the Tudor house sim isn't really that into modern, but their spouse is really into this modern aesthetic, and so that's kind of why this house is so big and modern. And so I'm just going to be using this rug from the Seasons pack, and it's going to be adding a little bit of flowers onto the table. And now we are just going to be adding a large screen TV into the space, and this is the main thing, the first thing you see when you enter the house. And I was thinking that this would be a great spot for like movies. Maybe it's like kind of like the grandma and the child kind of tag team, like hosting parties. Like, okay, dinner is at the Tudor house, and then like the big game is at the modern house. And so we are just going to be adding a little coffee table in the center. I felt like I just needed a little something right there, and I do complement the circles with the circle side tables on either side of the couch, and just going to be adding a little light above the dining room. And I'm just going to be adding some frames so you could put some family pictures of your Sims in this space or in previous spaces or at the park. I don't really care. And so now we are in the office space, and I thought like it was important to have an office space in this house rather than like an actual room in this house rather than the Tudor house, because having a space to work from home is kind of more these days than in past years. And so we are just going to be adding a little bookshelf. I was trying to make this space look really cool if your Sims were on a quote unquote Zoom call or conference call or some sort of something like that. And so we are just going to be adding a lot of little knickknacks here and there. I did really want to add this chess table thing, but then I saw the duck, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's a gift that the dad gave their child, and so they just hang it proudly on in their office, and like, oh, my dad right there in the duck. And so we are just going to be going and adding some pictures. I thought this bird picture from City Living would be a nice addition with the duck. And so we are now on the second level, and we are going to be starting off in the toddler's room, which is very small. And I thought that this toy chest could be a handy down from the grandma. It's like, oh, child, remember when you used to put your toys in here? Now your child can put toys in here. And I was trying to make this room very neutral, so if your Sims don't really like this, it can easily you can easily change it. And so I just wanted to put it in a very cute little spot. And now we are in the third bedroom, which is the room for the child. And I was imagining that this child would be a whiz kid who really likes toy critters, but I was also trying to keep this kind of simple. So if you wanted to, well, actually, no, I did not keep this simple, but I was trying to keep this very gender neutral. So if your sim is a boy or a girl, it's easy it's easy to change, and so we are just going to be adding a little desk and going to be adding a lot of void critter posters. And I maybe went a little overboard, and I wasn't really fully planning on using the kids room pack, but I just went for it. I really don't like using a ton of packs when I build because I know packs cost money, and some of us don't really have all that money all the money in the world to spend. I mean, I guess it probably does help now that base game is free. So if you have any like families in mind of a that you need a base game home for, let me know down in the comments. I'd be happy to build you a base game home. And so we are just going to be kind of listening the pictures on the one wall. I'm putting some stickers above the bed, which I thought was really cute. And now we are just working on this desk space, and I thought that this would be a very cute space for them to do their homework, play some video games, and yeah. So I'm just going to be decorating the space, trying to make it seem really cluttered because I thought that's what kids do. They're just kind of cluttered. They need to see everything, make sure they have all their things in their spots, and so since I decided that room was going to be blue, I had a blue backpack. I'm like, oh wait, there's a red backpack downstairs. I got rid of it. Although one of the the red backpack could have been for the parents to take to work, but still, I just got rid of it. And so now we are just going into the primary bedroom, which is very simple and purple. And so it does have a entrance to the balcony, the only entrance to the balcony. And so we are just going to be adding some plants and some side tables, just trying to keep it very simple and clean in here. Just going to be adding a picture from City Living and going to be adding some more empty frames that you can put family pictures in. And so we are just going to be adding a rug just to kind of bring some warmth in the space, but still kind of keep it neutral. And now we are in the bathroom, which is the only full bathroom I'm showing you just because we are getting close to the end of the video, and I really only felt like recording one bathroom. And so we are now on the balcony, and I was originally thinking of adding a hot tub, but I realized that the space is just too big for that, and so I add some lounging chairs, a spot to do some like art on the floor, and going to be now going in and adding a picture in the hallway. And I couldn't really figure out what to add in this corner, so I just make the primary bedroom a little bit bigger, so it's not really like a hallway, it's just bigger for your Sims to use. And so we are just going to be adding some pictures into the hallway that you can add the pictures, it's just a frame. And now we are going to be going into the laundry room. So this is the spot where the greenhouse connects to the Tutor house, and I thought that this would be a great space that connects so the grandma can also use the space without feeling like she's intruding on the her child's family's privacy. And so we are just getting close to the end of the video, going to be wrapping things up here. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you want to play in this house, the information is down in the description. I post new videos every single Tuesday, so I hope to see you all next week for another Sims 4 video. Please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Bye!